Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I'll be doing another Days of Our Lives recap. Today is Friday, September 27th, 2024. So we go to Sarah and Fiona, right? So remember Sarah wanted to tell Fiona something. At first, I thought it was about Xander off the bat, but she wanted to tell Fiona that she knew about her and Brady's little fling. And Fiona, in her defense, is saying that she really didn't know that Brady is Xander's nephew. And when she heard about what he did and, run her off, she cut off things with him, right? So Sarah understands, and she also is saying that, there's something more to it, right? So I thought she was gonna tell her about Xander actually trying to harm Brady again. She before she got into it, she told her that, she's thankful for her to actually stop whatever happened between Xander and Brady when Xander came over to Brady's workplace with a bat to try beat him up, right? So she's grateful to her for that, and she's like, even though I stopped that from happening, just know that I am in your corner. I'm totally against what Brady did to you, try to run you off the road, all of that. So she's like, she actually called the cops that should go over to Brady's place to arrest him because she quote unquote remembered what Brady did to her and that night of the accident. So I already know the tone of Sarah's voice. I already know that she's lying, probably to protect her husband. But we'll find out more in the recap as we go. So let's go back to Brady and Xander, right? So remember Xander was over there to placed the gun in Brady's hand to make it look like, he offed himself. But Jada came in because, Sarah called her to come over there. So he's asking her, what's her purpose being there. He was just there to check in on Brady and saw him passed out. And she was like, Sarah called her over to this place, to check in on Brady. So he's like, did she tell anything else? Because at this point, he's like, oh gosh, Sarah really out me to the police. Like, I was thinking she was going to do that, with her high and mighty self. But anyways, Jada says that, she remembered that Brady was the one behind the wheels. And then she tried to wake up Brady, and Brady is already disheveled. He's slurring his words. And she's like, Brady, did you drink again? So he's like, no, I didn't drink. I took a taxi this time. She's like, I'm glad you did. But, given the condition that you're in. But anyways, you're arrested for what you did to Sarah, right? So we have to take you in for questioning and all that. So he's like, before that, he's like, I didn't drink anymore, I stopped that. So, Xander is over there just scoffing like, never stopped you before. So anyways, we go to Stephanie and Alex, right? So Alex is just checking in on her. And he knows it's late, but she's like, yeah, it's okay. I was just, preparing for bed and all that. So she got the text message from Eric that, the photos came in from the photo shoot. So she invited Alex in to look over on them. And, they start discussing the pictures and how him and Chanel really look like they're into it. And he's like, he's surprised it turned out this way because him and Chanel really don't see eye to eye. But, they did actually were friendly and amicable on the day of the photo shoot. So, he's worried about if, the passion, the anger that they have against each other in real life, will it not play into the passion that they should have as, love interest on the soap opera. So he's a little bit worried about that, but hopefully it goes off. And then, Stephanie's like, she's worried about how Johnny would take it because, he probably might be jealous or insecure of them working together, considering they had a past. So he's like, that's his problem, and hopefully he gets over it. But, this is just business at the end of the day, which I completely agree. So she then says, want to watch some shows with her. And, they sit down and they hang out again. And at some point, Stephanie falls asleep and he's watching it, trying to talk to her, but she was already asleep and she was having this fantasy about her and Alex, just together at the photo shoot and all that. So she woke up, And she's like, oh, the dream and all that. So he's like, the dream was really intense for you to like be talking about peacock and all that. So she's like, no, it's about, this dream I had was about my bear, my childhood bear and all that. So he's like, oh, really? Must be an interesting bear. So at some point she did tell the truth that she was trying to take Alex to bed. It was a little bit awkward but cute. So anyways, they just wrapped it up, and she's like, you know what, I should get to bed. It's a little bit late. And he's like, yeah, I have 7 a.m. call, so let me get to bed, right? I feel like these two are gonna get together. But anyways, let's go into this couple, right? Chanel and Johnny. So Johnny, they got the pictures from the photo shoot, and he's looking through them, and he's like, you're looking really good, beautiful and all that. And then the picture was of her and Alex, right? So he's like, this looks really convincing. And she's like, I'm really surprised it turned out this way, and we really were friendly on the day of the photo shoot. I'm surprised about that, right? So he's like, I'm really surprised about that too. And she's like, I just wish that Leo would just, halt the love scene until later on. So he's like, I tried to go over there and, tell him to change the scene. And she's like, why would you do that behind my back? So he's like, I was looking out for you, your best interest. I was trying to go in your defense. So she's like, you shouldn't have done that. That was my call. So he's like, I am the director. I have the right to go talk to the head writer to change up any scenes. And I was just doing it for you. So she's like, yeah, right. I don't buy it. I think you're doing it because of what happened between me and Alex. And he's like, at some point he did talk about these scenes are really convincing. Like, I wouldn't be surprising, I came in there and your hands are on him. It's like, back in the day when you and him had a thing, and all of that. So she's like, really, this is just professional, this is just business, it's a performance. Like, how can you really like make these kind of comments towards me? So she did get offended by it. And Johnny did try to apologize, but she stormed out, and, they went to bed, and she was just not having it, So she just went to bed and said, listen, I have a 7 a.m. call tomorrow, I'll see you on set. So that was where it really ended with them too. Like, I just feel like this is going to bring a wedge between this couple, and they were so good together. But this thing with her and Alex, even though she is just pushing it off, it's gonna get worse, and maybe Johnny's insecurity is gonna come through, because it's not the first time he's been put in this thing. Remember her and Ali and him, and she having to choose between the two of them, and I can think it's probably stemming from that too. So Brady is in handcuffs because he's arrested for what happened to Sarah, right? So Eric comes in, checks on him, and he's like, I can't believe you drunk again. So he's like, I didn't drink this time, after you and I, was at the pub, I went home. So he's like, you sure you didn't go nowhere before you go home? So he's like, no. But then he started remembering that he met the strange guy, and he's like, what's this guy? Who's this guy? So he's like, he said he met him at the AA meeting, and he really doesn't know the guy, I remember, but that's nothing out of the blue, because it's Alcoholics Anonymous, right? So anyways, he said that, he exchanged some, greetings and all that, and then he shakes his hand, and then his ring cut him. So he didn't remember anything else after that, but all he knows is that he felt out of place when he was home, and Tate was accusing him if he was drinking again, and, he put him to bed because he was really out of it. So he's like, then what happened after? So he's like, before I know it, like, Jada was trying to wake me up, and, I heard another voice. So he's like, what was the voice? So, was another police officer? So he's like, no, actually it wasn't. It was Xander, right? So, of course, they're trying to figure out why Xander was there, or if he's, up to something in this, right? So Eric comes out, talks to Jada about it, and he's like, I heard Xander was there. So she's like, yeah, he was there. So he's like, was there a certain reason why it's there? And, Jada is like, she's probably there. He was just there to check in on him and all of that, right? So she said she had to take a call, and then Eric is thinking to himself, like, why would you be there, Xander? Like, what is your reason? Given the circumstances of everything, like, why would he be there in Brady's room unless it's up to no good? So when I tell you the soap opera have surprises, it does have its surprises, because I would never think the all almighty saintly Sarah would lie, right? Would tell a lie. But anyways, what she did that with Xander hiding the paternity. But anyways, I don't think she would have done a criminal lie, right? So we already figured, or we already figured that Sarah did fake remember that Brady was the one behind the wheel, right? She just feel like in her reasoning that, you know, she had to do it to protect Xander. She didn't want to leave Xander. She'd rather live with the lie than lose her husband, right? She ran for her husband. So this surprises her all, because, you know, I never thought that she would actually do that, you know, but I guess, you know, she's understanding that, you know, loyalty is everything, especially in a marriage. So anyways, Xander's surprised, you know, and she's like, well, you know, he confessed and all that, and, you know, he has to pay for what he has to do. So I'm not really that, I don't feel really that bad behind it, right? You know, he said he was the one that did it, and, you know, all that leads to him. Like, we don't have nobody else that was there at that scene. So, like, you know, all cards leading to him. So she feels, you know, okay with her decision to actually tell a lie to the officer and let Brady take the fall, right? Because nobody knows it was Fiona. And Fiona actually was overhearing a part of their conversation that, you know, they feel like, you know, Brady is the right guy that's actually being arrested for this all. And she's like, listen, you know, I couldn't bear losing you. So, you know, this is what it is. So he's thankful that Sarah did that. He really thought she was going to sell him down the river. But, you know, he's happy and grateful. And she's like, so now I did what was best for the two of you, to protect you both, right? So Brady doesn't get killed and you stay out of jail. And you just need to stop and drop this vendetta. But, boy, let's see how this go. So that is it, guys, for today's Days of Our Lives recap. I will see you guys for next week. Hope you guys have a safe and enjoyable weekend. See y'all next week. Bye.